When working with text, a very common task is to find substrings in a text based on a pattern. So consider here the case of a Facebook post. And what we would like to do is to find all hashtags and all the URLs in this post. Or similarly, consider you want to build a sentiment analysis system to identify if a post is positive or negative with respect to a sentiment. So it would be very useful to find interesting patterns like emoticons, right? So here's just a couple of examples of very common emoticons. And those could be very helpful to identify if a post is positive or negative. But this idea of finding interesting patterns obviously can be easily extended to all kinds of common things to look for, like dates, phone numbers, IDs, or postal addresses. And for example, when you consider dates, you can already see maybe this challenge that there are different ways to represent a date, right? So for example, we could try the date using slashes and writing the year as using just 2 digits. But maybe somebody writes a date like this using dashes and using 4 digits for the year, right? So it's not obvious how our pattern looks like, and ideally we want to find substrings with a certain amount of flexibility. And this is basically where regular expression come in. A very useful tool for pattern-based substring matching. So what are regular expression? Very simply speaking, a regular expression is a pattern or a sequence of characters that describe a certain search string, which is used to find these matching substrings in a text. And we already saw in previous slides how we can use this and more generalize it. What are very common applications are that we want to parse our text documents to find relevant substrings, but we can also validate text to ensure that it matches the predefined patterns. So for example, we can use it for password validation, which is now very common at most websites that uses some kind of login with password, that this password has a certain requirement to make it valid. And we can use regular expression to check if a certain password that a user enters is valid with respect to all these criteria specified. And of course, apart from just finding interesting substrings, we can also use directly regular expressions to edit, replace, or delete these found substrings. For practical consideration, it's important to keep in mind that most regular expression engines work in such a way that by default they only match the first occurrence of a pattern, and you as a user have to specify a kind of global search to indeed find all the matching occurrences in a pattern. Right? So this is kind of to keep in mind in practice.